Good morning, everyone. Please, I want to know if you can see my screen.
We can see your screen, yes. We can see your slides.
Okay, man. Thank you so much. So, as I said, my name is Olayemi Falope from the Durban University of Technology, South Africa. So here today, I will be presenting to you a topic review of data analytics for South Africa's sexual crime landscape. Okay. And as we know that sexual crime violates human rights and has become an important problem that needs to be resolved in the world, even in South Africa, before it becomes too impossible to deal with in the society. It is important to seriously address this problem of sexual crime and predict trends in sexual crime using data analytics algorithms that may help the police, the law enforcement agencies prevent and even reduce sexual crime in South Africa. And the aim of this paper is to motivate the need to address sexual crimes through predicting sexual crime trends using data analytics algorithms that may help the police, as I said the other time, and the law enforcement to prevent, to reduce the violence, most especially against women and children, specifically in the area of sexual crimes in South Africa. And our methodology, the paper will adopt a systematic literature review to analyze the existing literature on sexual crimes, their causes, the research development, and also the challenges related to sexual crimes against children and women. By so doing, causes of and responses to sexual crime in the broader South African context will be examined. And the literature review will also study the types of methods used to analyze sexual crimes, or the methods that have been used in literature to analyze sexual crimes or related crimes too. So this ranges from manual detective work to semi-automated pattern recognition to fully automated systems that track violent sexual crimes and try to find patterns for serial offenders. The model will also be trained with some model farms. All the models that have been found, our models will be trained with them. So the background and the literature review of our study, as we know that the rate of sexual crime in South Africa is among the highest in the world. And by so doing, what can we say sexual crime is? If you are talking about sexual crime, at least this definition of sexual crime. So according to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, says sexual crime is the use of force to make someone engage in unwanted sex acts without their consent. Imagine someone being forced to engage in unwanted sex without their consent, without their agreement. So all of that is called sexual crime. Even if the person just look at you, just somehow without you, lustfully, that is called sexual crime as well. So according to OBEG 2020, various forms of violence are widespread among girls and women in childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. And the World Health Organization also gave their own definition of sexual crimes as any sexual act, attempt to obtain a sexual act or unwanted sexual comments, to traffic or otherwise directed against a person's sexuality using coercion by any person regardless of their relationship to the victim. So what are the effects of sexual crimes? Sexual crime has effects ranging from long psychologically damaging effect on sexually assaulted victims. Sexually assaulted victims suffers both immediate and lasting psychological and physical pain. The harmful effects of sexual crimes include loss of life, risky miscarriages, extreme feelings of shame, and sexual transmitted disease. So the victims will always, they will have a low self-esteem, they don't want to speak out. No, they don't have the mind to speak out to people, even to their families, even to the government. They will, just because of the shame of this crime that has been done to them. According to the statistic, and according to Minister of Police Becky Selle in a media briefing, he said sexual crime involving gender-based related incidents increased by 5% in the fourth quarter of 2020. And that was during the time of the COVID-19. So everyone was at home then, and all of this, the study came to note that most of these incidents happened around the victims' places, residents, or the rapist residents. So according to the statistic, 12,218 rape cases were reported between October and December 2020. That is just part of few out of the ones that happened that will not be reported. Represent a 1.5% increase from July to September of the year 2020. So as I said the other time, most cases were reported in Yanda and Mulazi in KwaZulu-Natal and Luzik-Kisiki in the Eastern Cape. So the rape took place showed that 4,900 happened in the victims or the rapist home. So lot of it like that, and 570 were related to domestic violence, and 547 of the rape cases in this category involved female victims and only 23 male victims. So unfortunately, we notice that women are the main targets of sexual crime in South Africa, and there is almost never an alternative to negotiate safe sex. In addition, men hold the power and women are largely marginalized by the existing patriarchy society. And these deep-rooted patterns of sexual crime has not disappeared with the transition of democracy, as they are rooted in oppressive patriarchy and of colonization, apartheid, and the Cold War. So expected contribution to knowledge is that motivation and proposal for law enforcement, the police, the government of South Africa to use data analytics to capable of predicting sexual crimes in South Africa to prevent and to reduce violence against women. So this data analytics will be capable to predict the future occurrence and also the hotspots where the crime will happen in future, so to be able to curb sexual crime against children.
You're
Against
almost running
women.
out of time. Okay, you're on the
Okay. Yeah, I'm almost done, please. So the preliminary findings are: number one, sexual crimes are a violation of human rights and a significant public health problem around the world. And the sexual crime has a long psychological damaging effect on sexual assault victims that suffer both immediate and long-lasting psychological and physical pain. And the rate of sexual crime in South Africa is among the highest in the world. So the recommendation for practitioners and the researchers. The recommendation for the practitioners, such as data scientists, developers, data analysts, and so on and so forth, can embrace this strategy by working with the government, with the law enforcement and researchers to design an application that can help curb sexual crimes in the country. And also for the researchers, further research can be conducted to test the accuracy of the proposed data analytics tool for the South African sexual crime landscape. And also the impact of our study to the society, data analytic tools that can predict sexual crimes that will help the South African government, the law enforcement, and the society, especially our women and our girls, to be aware of the occurrences of sexual crimes. And also this can be put into the curriculum of the school. It can be part of the curriculum of the school about dating violence, so that our girl child can be aware that sexual crime is real, sexual crime happens, and how can it be curbed. So all of this can be included into the curriculum. Thank you so much for listening.
Good morning once again. My name is Temitope Kekere. I'll be presenting on behalf of one of my supervisors, Prof. Kosi Marivet. And my research borders on how to use social media to understand social concepts for public safety. And an offshoot of that research is looking at what happened during the July unrest. And so we wanted to see how we can use topic modeling to understand what people were saying during the protest. And so this morning I'll be presenting topic modeling for crime monitoring in South Africa. I'm being supervised by Prof. Mary Hatting. She's the Associate Professor at the Informatics Department of the University of Pretoria. She is also the Departmental Marketing Representative and an Honorary Treasurer, South African Institute for Computer Sciences and Information Technologies. She's also the Assistant to South African Computer Journal Editor. Professor Vukosi Marivet is an Associate Professor at the Computer Science Department of University of Pretoria. He is the ABSA University of Pretoria Data Science Chair. And the work that he does is at the Art of Data Science Project for Societal Impact. And he is a principal investigator in that area. And also to buttress his efforts in doing that, he is part of the founder of Deep Learning in Daba, a grassroots initiative for machine learning for Africans and by Africans. He's also the co-founder of Mashakane Natural Language Processing, a grassroots initiative for digitizing language for Africans and by Africans. The links are there on the slides too, that shows what we've been doing in that area. My name is Tokwege Kiri again. I'm a PhD student in information technology, and I'm a member of the Data Science for Social Impact Research Group. I know I have a lot of slides, so I'm just going to be jumping some of the slides. But again, what this presentation is about is looking at the topics, using topic modeling during the crime that happened in July last year. And the motivation behind that is we wanted to see, can we organize these documents into thematic categories? Can we describe the evolution of topics that happened? And can we understand the relationship between these concepts? And we're also interested in social topic understanding. I'm going to jump how topic modeling works, but I'm going to come back to that. The problem is that the July unrest happened because of the jailing of former President Zuma, who failed to show up at the court. And the protest began from KwaZulu-Natal and extended to certain parts of Gauteng. And we wanted to look at the discourse and the discussion around that. And we understand that the cause of protest is a very complex one. It's socioeconomic, it's political, it's religious, it's cultural. It's a combination of all of this. And so we quickly harvested data from Twitter, we cleaned it, we processed it, we applied topic model algorithm, LDA in this case, and we used it to look at what people were discussing during this time. Okay, so this slide shows how we collected the data. We came down with 4 data sets, and we collected data sets around Johannesburg, Pretoria, KwaZulu-Natal, and also in phonics. We cleaned the data by removing the noise, stop words, we lowered all the cases, we pre-processed the data, and we did some other things. Now, how did we model the data? How did we get out the topics? We used data-enriched allocation. Of course, we have other topic modeling algorithms that we could have used, but that was what we chose. I'm going to jump right into the topics because that is the essence of this presentation. What were people talking about during the protest? So in Johannesburg, we could see on the second topic, it shows that Zuma was jailed because of contempt of the court, and he violated the law, and he's sent to prison, okay? And of course, we can also look at all that topics, and because these topics are kind of related, these topics are words in the documents, and we use probability to bring out those words in the topic, and then because this words are kind of related, we then look for the theme behind these words or topics. So we can see in the first one, we see the security. Of course, we saw in Johannesburg, there were quite a few arrests. So we can see arrest, security, time, loot, lead. And of course, when we jump to the third one, we can see violence, black, family, of course, SAP, South African police, steal, people, talk, protect. We can see that the discussion around this was, protection of lives, there was violence, people are stealing and all of that. Also going to jump, we're going to look at what were people discussing in Pretoria. We saw the third topic around this place, we are seeing prison, KZN shut down, Zuma again showing because it's the center of the protest. And I'm also going to jump to KwaZulu-Natal. What were people saying? We have violence, we have support law, believe black, loot, massive looting. And the first one was showing time, country police, ban, money, all right? I know I have a few minutes left. I'm just going to jump to phonics. We are seeing here the third topic, massacre, phonics, serious, country, president. And so in all of these, we can see that this slide shows the topics that were picked out by the algorithms. And we can see quite a lot of things from here. We can see when the looting started, the burning, what the police were doing, how they arrested a few people and all of that. So we compare what we found out on social media with the report from the presidency that was released a few days ago. And one of the things they said or highlighted was that the use of social media by various networks to instigate violence and to organize themselves to carry out the violence was extensive. They also said that the use of social media seemed to confound the security services. There were increasingly emboldening calls for disruption on social media, including a call for national shutdown. I mean, before the protests began, there were three important people that made announcements on social media. And so we are recommending that the South African police can leverage social media for community policing. We are also saying that our political leaders can engage the public using social media. By so doing, we would be able to sometimes diffuse these vibes that are shared on social media in a way to maintain the safety of the community and also to uphold the law. We can balance the two, because I think what happened during the July protest was things just went out of what the norm is. So when we leverage social media, which is a tool for communication, and we continue the engagement, we can find a way to find a balance between the instigators, the power play, and the politicians and everybody, and keep that balance just by engaging. And I'm sure I'm out of time. If there is any questions, I can run back to any of the slides and make explanations. Thank you.